Breaking news, a New Mexico judge has ordered the release of Timothy Busfield. The actor was in court today accused of child sex abuse.
All right, we've got some breaking news in a really high-profile case. The story surrounding Emmy-winning actor Timothy Busfield just took a massive, unexpected turn. You know, prosecutors were calling him a danger to the community, but a judge just ordered his release. So the huge question is, what evidence could possibly be powerful enough to make that happen? Let's get into it. And this, right here, really lays out the two sides of this story. On one hand, you've got the Timothy Busfield so many of us know, the celebrated actor, a familiar face from huge shows like The West Wing. And then on the other side, you have the accused, a man facing these incredibly serious charges that can end his career and, frankly, change his life forever. It's just a shocking contrast. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? The prosecution was in court arguing that Busfield has a pattern of conduct, that he's a danger, so why on earth would a judge hear that and then decide to let him out? There has to be some seriously compelling evidence. Let's dig in. Okay, let's start with part one, a shocking release. To really get why this decision is such a big deal, you have to understand exactly what the judge did and what it means.
So the bottom line is pretty simple. After being held in jail, Timothy Busfield is now out as he waits for his trial to start. But what makes this so significant is that the judge made this call despite some really strong objections from the prosecution. They wanted him to stay right where he was, behind bars.
Now, he was released on his own recognitions. You hear that term a lot, but what does it actually mean? Well, it's basically the court saying, we're going to trust you to show up for your court dates without making you pay any money for bail. It's all based on his promise that he'll be there. But, and this is a huge but, he's not just walking free with no strings attached. The judge put a very, very strict condition on his release. Timothy Busfield is absolutely not allowed to have any unsupervised contact with anyone under 18 years old. So yeah, he's out, but with some really significant guardrails in place.
So how in the world did his defense team manage to pull this off? Well, that takes us to part two, a theory of fabrication. See, they didn't just argue that he was innocent. Oh no, they built this entire counter-narrative, basically suggesting the whole case was just made up.
And here it is, the absolute core of their argument. The defense is claiming these accusations aren't just wrong. They're part of a deliberate plan motivated by money and revenge. So they're not just playing defense here, they're on the offense, pointing to what they believe is the real reason these claims ever saw the light of day. And this timeline is just central to the defense's entire story. According to them, you just have to connect the dots. In 2024, the two child actors involved in this case were recast. They lost their jobs on the TV series The Cleaning Lady. And it was only after that happened that these accusations against Busfield popped up. The defense is basically saying, hey, look at the timing here. No recasting, no accusations.
Now, this whole theory wasn't just some idea they threw around in court. That brings us to our third section, inside the 237-page filing. The defense backed up everything they were saying with a legal bombshell, a document specifically designed to tear the prosecution's case apart piece by piece.
And just look at that number, 237 pages. I mean, the sheer size of this document tells you everything about the defense's strategy here. This wasn't a simple motion. This was a massive, comprehensive counterattack trying to poke holes in every single part of the case against him.
The goal here was crystal clear: present so much counter-evidence that it would completely shake the foundation of the prosecution's case. They wanted to create so much doubt that the judge would have no choice but to act. So, what exactly was in those 237 pages?
The defense really built their case on three key pillars of evidence. First, they submitted a psychosexual evaluation of Busfield. Second, they presented the results of a polygraph exam, which they say he passed. And third, and this one is huge, they handed over audio recordings of the very first police interviews with the accusers.
And this is where it gets incredibly specific. The defense claims that if you listen to these initial recordings, you can actually hear the accusers say, point blank, that Busfield did not touch them in their private areas. Now, obviously, that's a statement that flies directly in the face of the charges against him.
So what you have here are two completely different realities being presented to the judge. On one side, you have the prosecution's claim of a pattern of touching, but then on the other side, you have testimony from the film set's director of photography. He says the sets are incredibly regimented and that there are at least 10 people around at all times. The defense's point? That kind of pattern would have been almost impossible to pull off without anyone noticing.
But, this whole thing isn't just happening inside a courtroom. And that brings us to our final section, the fallout and the future. Because even with this big win for the defense, this case has already had a massive impact on Busfield's life, both personally and professionally.
You can really see the fallout spreading into three main areas of his life. You've got the huge personal toll on his family, the immediate professional consequences for his career, and, of course, the fact that this legal battle is far from over. His release is just one chapter.
And you can really feel the personal cost of all this in a letter that his wife, actress Melissa Gilbert, wrote to the judge. She was actually seen crying in court when the ruling came down, and in her letter she described her husband as the beating heart of their family. It just shows you how high the stakes are for everyone involved.
And the professional fallout? It's been incredibly fast. It's already been confirmed that Busfield is being completely edited out of an upcoming movie he'd already filmed. The industry is not waiting around for a jury's verdict to start making decisions. So, what about the man at the center of this whole storm? Well, as he was leaving the courthouse, Busfield made a very short, very defiant statement to the press. All he said was, "I'm going to be exonerated."
But it is so important to remember this. Being released from jail is not the same thing as being found innocent. It's not an exoneration. It's a major victory for the defense, for sure, but it's just one step on a very long road to the actual trial. And with all this conflicting evidence and testimony, the ultimate question is still out there. When this all goes before a jury, what are they going to decide?